All right, let's dive right in. This is it. We've hit week 14 of the 2025 NFL season, and this is the moment where everything changes. This is where playoff dreams get made or absolutely shattered. We're going to cut through all the noise and use the hard data to predict every single game. You know, the margin for error? It's gone. It's zero. For the top teams, this is all about locking down home field advantage. But for everybody else, everybody on that playoff bubble, it is a desperate, clawing fight just to stay alive. And when the stakes are this high, your gut feeling just isn't going to quit it. We need something sharper, and that's exactly where the data comes in. So our analytical weapon of choice here is going to be expected points added, or EPA. Look, all it does is measure how valuable every single play truly was. It's the best tool we've got. So with EPA as our guide, let's get right into these predictions, and we're going to start with the games where Mother Nature herself becomes the ultimate X factor. Yeah, for the first time this winter, we have a true weather slate. We're talking freezing temperatures, snow, rain, and all of that is about to throw some very carefully planned out game scripts right into chaos. And honestly, it creates some of the most interesting mismatches of the entire week. Okay, first up, we're heading to Orchard Park for what is looking like a classic snow game. We've got freezing temperatures, we've got snow showers, and we've got wind. Now, these are conditions that really reward a specific brand of football. You know, that powerful, old-school, run-it-down-your-throat offense. And that leads us to one of the biggest mismatches of the entire season. So here it is, the fatal flaw for Cincinnati. The Bengals have the 32nd ranked run defense in the entire league. Dead. Last. They are fundamentally completely incapable of stopping the run. They give up over 5 yards every single time an opponent even thinks about handing the ball off. So what's the problem for Cincinnati? Well, they're facing the #1 rushing offense in the entire league. The Buffalo Bills are literally built for this exact environment. It's a perfect storm of the right opponent, the right scheme, and the absolute perfect weather. This is just a schematic nightmare for the Bengals. They're a pass-first team playing in the snow against the league's best rushing attack while having the league's worst run defense. The data is just screaming one outcome here. We've got the Bills winning this one, and winning it decisively, 31-13. All right, now for our next weather game, a good old-fashioned mud bowl down in Jacksonville. Heavy rain is in the forecast, and what that does is it pretty much neutralizes any deep passing game and forces you to keep the ball on the ground. And that is terrible news for the Colts, whose #1 offense by EPA runs headfirst into the Jaguars' #1 ranked run defense. The Jags are built to win this exact kind of fight. The rain just takes away the Colts' big play ability, right? It forces them to play left-handed, running right into the teeth of the league's best run-stuffing unit. This is going to be a low-scoring, grinded-out kind of game, and we're giving the edge to the home team. We've got the Jaguars winning a nail-biter 17-14. All right, let's move out of the elements and into the bright lights. The primetime slate for Week 14 is just loaded with huge playoff implications, starting with a massive NFC clash on Thursday night. So we've got two teams heading in completely opposite directions. You've got the surging Cowboys heading into Ford Field to face a Lions team that's lost 4 of their last 7 games. Now, the story here is, can Detroit defend its home turf? But the data? The data says this game really hinges on one thing: the injury report. This game is all about who is and who isn't on the field for Detroit. Their tight end, Sam Laporta, is out for this season, and that is a devastating blow to their red zone offense. And to make things worse, their top weapon, Amon-Ra St. Brown, is a game-time decision. That kind of uncertainty really puts a hard cap on what the Lions' offense can do. But even with a shaky passing attack, the Lions have a clear path to victory. They can just lean on their run game against a Cowboys defense that, believe it or not, ranks 31st in the league at stopping the run. That critical mismatch, combined with that insane home field advantage at Ford Field, it should be just enough. We're taking the Lions in an incredibly close one, 28-27. Okay, let's move to Sunday night for our upset special. The defending champion Kansas City Chiefs are just 6-6, and they are fighting for their playoff lives at home against the Houston Texans. And while, most people might favor the dynasty, the data is pointing to a massive trap for the Chiefs. This game really comes down to one undeniable mismatch. The Texans have the #1 defense in the entire league, and it's led by that terrifying pass-rushing duo of Will Anderson Jr. and Daniel Hunter. And they're about to face a Chiefs offensive line that is completely decimated by injuries, with both starting tackles out. Patrick Mahomes is going to be running for his life all night. Look, the Texans' defensive front has the ability to completely wreck this entire game script. So yeah, we're calling for the upset. The data is just too strong to ignore. The Texans go into Arrowhead and pull off a huge statement win, 20-17.
And we wrap up the primetime games on Monday night with what is a true metric deadlock. As you can see from the numbers, the Eagles and Chargers are basically identical in both offensive and defensive EPA. On paper, this is the biggest toss-up of the entire week.
So how do you pick a winner when the numbers are this close? Well, you look for the tiebreaker. And for us, that tiebreaker is Saquon Barkley. His explosive potential in the run game gives the Eagles the one dynamic weapon that the Chargers just can't quite match. In a close game, that's the difference. We'll take the Eagles, 23-20.
All right, we've covered the weather games, we've hit the primetime showdowns. Now it's time to run through the rest of the Week 14 slate with some rapid-fire analysis. Let's go. Okay, at Lambeau, the Bears' turnover luck finally runs out against a super efficient Packers team. We like Green Bay. Next up, the Steelers' run defense just completely collapsed, and now they have to face the Ravens' 5th-ranked rushing attack. Yeah, big advantage to Baltimore. And in Minnesota, Justin Jefferson is an absolute nightmare matchup for Washington's 28th-ranked pass defense. Vikings get the win there.
Seattle's top 3 defense travels to face Atlanta's 23rd-ranked offense. That's a massive mismatch. Seahawks should roll. In the Meadowlands, Miami's speed on turf is just going to be too much for a Jets defense that's really taken a step back. Dolphins win. Finally, the Saints are absolutely decimated by injuries, and they're facing a Buccaneers team that thrives on takeaways. That is a recipe for a blowout. Give me the Bucs.
In Cleveland, it's the league's best defense against the league's worst offense. Let's not overthink this one. Browns win a rock fight. Next, Denver's elite defense faces a broken Raiders offense. Another easy call. Broncos win big. And to finish it off, the Rams' number 2 passing attack gets to play indoors against Arizona's suspect defense. Yeah, expect a lot of points. Rams by double digits. So there you have it. Those are our data-driven predictions for all of Week 14. We've got some very high-confidence picks, like the Bills over the Bengals, and then we have a few nail-biters that we're calling with low confidence, like those Lions and Eagles games. And of course, our upset special remains the Texans over the Chiefs at Arrowhead. And this brings us to our final thoughts. As you look over all these projections, it's really not just about who wins and who loses this one week. It's about the ripple effect across the league. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. If all these predictions hold true, which team's playoff path changes the most? Think about it. A win for the Texans or a loss for the Chiefs could reshape the entire AFC landscape. Something to keep in mind as the games kick off.